Happy National Eat Outside Day, and welcome to the 22nd season of the Sandlot Fantasy Football League. With me this week, as always, I've got Nick. What's up, Nick?
Oh,
I got Hillers.
Eat Outside Day.
Yeah, I know, right? What's up, Hillers?
I forgot to eat outside today.
How dare you?
I know. It was inside only.
It's a desecration of National Eat Outside Day.
I had lunch at a cat cafe. Cats are part of the outside, right?
Do you have like a favorite eat outside restaurant?
Whoa. What's your favorite cat? Is it to eat? Is it Siamese? Or is that just like you eat it, but then you're hungry a couple hours later?
Okay, so here we are, 22nd season. This podcast, we're going to get into
you wanted more spice, Meryl. That's what's supposed to be.
A little too spicy. That was a little too spicy there. We were watching Hot Ones. That was like an 8 on the spice meter or whatever. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah, this is the traditional post-draft podcast where we talk about the draft, talk about the teams, talk about why Hillers has the light of heaven behind him on his camera, and why Nick is in some undisclosed location on the run. So, unlike me, who has a just glorious background here that, nobody needs to talk about. So,
great rocking it.
Yeah, overall thoughts on the draft, guys. I don't know. Weekend, draft itself, what did you guys think?
I'll let Kamisha first go on this one.
The weekend was great. I mean, I think we played, much to Roscoe's chagrin, I think we played way more Magic than I think we ever thought we would play. But no, I think that it was
one game.
like 3 or 4 games. But
yeah, but that was more than we thought we would play.
I mean, that is. But actually, I am actually impressed that we played even one game, let alone the 3 or 4 that we did play. But no, I think it was great. I think that it was a great call switching houses. I think that this was the perfect house for us this year. I love that everyone had more or less their own room. I think there was one, there were cheap. I think, but Hillers, you shared a room with Daria.
Yep.
But like everyone had a nice bed. I think the house was like the perfect size where you could kind of go off and just take your alone minute. Like there was enough outside space where you could just be quiet. Like I think that it was great. Like the house was, to anyone who didn't make it, we're sorry we missed you. Obviously, we think that it would, the league is better when everyone's there, and hopefully next year we can find a house that is big enough to accommodate everyone like this again. But I definitely think this year showed us that, everyone needs. Basically, we need to find a big house with to be able to accommodate us all with at least the amount of beds for everything, because we are all grown ass people and we need to be able to get good sleep when we want it.
Draft wise, wild and stressful year. I mean, first of all, fully concur with Nick. Weekend was a ton of fun and loved it. It was great to see everybody. But the draft itself was chaotic and stressful because we had lots of rules. We had lots of new rules introduced this year. There's a lot of new shit going to be going on this year and I think next year. Player values were through the roof. People were playing high 60s for way more players than ever went for more than $60 in any previous draft. And it just felt like we were all killing each other over like crumbs. It felt like there was very little out there. You know what I mean? So I think that's why the values got as high as they did. I don't know if anybody came out of there thinking I got exactly everybody I wanted at the value I thought that they were going to be, but I can't imagine they did.
Yeah.
But fun, but stressful.
I'll echo what Nick said. Obviously, it kind of sucked going from a draft where everybody attended, it was the first time everybody was ever in person attending the auction draft, which was pretty sick, to a draft where I think it was probably one of our lower turnouts since we started doing the house. Obviously understandable. It's a long travel for a lot of people, busy time of year. Everybody's, a lot of people have kids now, going back to school, all kinds of stuff going on. So a bummer for that reason. But that house was huge, especially the basement. It was gigantic. And
for those that weren't there, it was great. It had pool tables, it had ping pong tables, it had like little video games set up.
This house was actually big enough that if we wanted to put people on the floor, people could have been on the floor comfortably in air mattresses with plenty of room. Like we could have doubled up in some of those rooms and been completely fine with, we could have had all 12 of us there.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine.
We had basement for days there. I mean, there was so much there. So yeah, missed everybody, but very cool. And hopefully next year we'll have a little more in-person attendance, but whatever, it works either way. Hillers, thank you for
that's a long trip for you.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. And we're still, I think, looking at going there sometime soon.
Yeah,
right?
and honestly, if we're looking at another year, we're only like 6 or 7 people are going to be there we might as well go to Florida, right? Like,
might as well go to Florida, right?
So,
exactly.
Yeah. So that's definitely in the back of our minds. Hillers, thank you for kicking off the draft with the national anthem this year. It was very cool of you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Has anybody contacted you since we posted the video on Facebook about possibly singing at an event or something like that?
Oh, you put it on the internet? Oh,
no,
I didn't know about that part. Oh,
Negative views.
Good.
Yeah. You know, the other cool thing about draft weekend is, like, you know, a lot of, like, some of these people we only see once a year. Actually, we only see most of the time we only see each other once a year, right? Most of us. So, but like, we roll in and it's like, it feels like it was yesterday almost when people roll in.
Very
it's
easy. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Really good vibes.
Hey, here we are doing the thing again. You know, it's another year.
Yeah.
So, my Sarah asked me, she goes, "How long you guys think you're going to keep doing this?" And I was like, "What do you mean?"
I mean, we'll have to find more players at some point when we start dying
off. Yeah. She was like, "You just keep getting the house like this?" I'm like, I mean, yeah. So
yeah.
So anyway, we used almost all the features. I think, Nick, me and you hit the garage features, the foosball and the ping pong, right? Did anybody play pool? I don't know if there was ever a pool game.
Yeah, there was a bunch of pool games.
All right,
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Did that. We used the fire pit outside. Had some adult fire pit talks, which was cool. You know,
that was awesome. Yeah.
Chaotic,
good vibes.
The TV was huge in the basement, which was cool. Yeah. No karaoke machine, kind of a bummer this year, but
I was fine with it.
Yeah, would have worked for the karaoke machine.
We didn't karaoke machine. We had Hillers.
Yeah. I played one song badly.
So how about that draft?
So anyway, yeah. So and then the draft happened, and I don't know about you guys. I feel like, I guess my thought was, everybody's getting more and more like Pritchard in the draft. It's kind of the Pritchardification of the draft, and that, like, we kind of, not everybody, but I feel like
the worst word I've ever heard.
I know. I'm working on it. We're gonna trade.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard come out of another human's mouth.
But it feels like people are picking out the people they want, and they're just going after it, and they're like, I'm just gonna pay the extra dollars for the studs,
whatever it takes,
and I'll buy the rest with $1. You know, I'll buy a bunch of $1 players at the end. I feel like that happened more this year than it ever has.
By a huge amount, and it really sort of changed the shape of the early bidding, and it changed the shape of the entire, like, middle section, where you know it was only about who had money left, because it just kept going, where players kept going. It wasn't just like, oh, there were a couple of really high running backs. It was like 3 or 4 guys deep on every position was getting up past values that I think are, like, close to historic.
I think there's a lot more money in the draft this year, though. Like, people could afford to go after that. Like, I think that
maybe, I didn't do the research on that. It's possible. I think we had 3 $60 plus running backs, and we had the most expensive receiver ever drafted also in AJ Brown, I think, this year. So, you know, that kind of tops it off.
I thought that was a record. I was like, that has to be a record. That's so much.
I don't remember. I mean, it would have been like Randy Moss the year after he went off that year. I think I got him for like 45 or something that year. So, like, AJ Brown at 47. Yeah, I feel like that's a record. The other thing is, you know, we talk about the talent pool in the draft. We had 18 wide receivers that were kept this year, so the wide receiver talent pool was kind of bleak, I think, coming in. Like, your best option was A.J. Brown. After that, it dropped down to, like, Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, right? Like, that's definitely a large tier drop down from, like, the guy you want as your wide receiver 1, right?
Yeah, the cliffs off the teardrops were ridiculous. And you could tell when it would happen, because the last guy in that tier would go for about at least twice what I had him pegged for every time.
Yeah, and then only 16 running backs were kept. And then I think the other thing with running backs is there were several good rookies that people were looking at too, which really deepened the running back pool that was available, I think, compared to the wide receiver pool, where there was maybe 2 or 3 rookies that people were really looking at.
I mean, yeah.
Well, and it's got to be just the money too, right?
Well said, Nick.
You can't have a $70 bid if there's not at least one other person who has $69 left. Right, and that kind of money isn't thrown around every year. I think people really were focusing on cheapness of keepers in general. You don't see a ton of, like, $50 plus keepers, even though they're at the top of their positional rank. So,
I mean, not to be that guy, like the actually guy, but I kind of 4 $60+ running backs, 5 $55+ running backs, and then AJ Brown at 46. So that's half the league bought a player for like
over
top
$50
market value.
Yeah,
for top market value. So
wow.
I mean, that's a lot of money in the draft.
You got to have that kind of money to have that kind of value, right?
You have to have that money to be able to spend that kind of money, right?
Well, you're talking keepers as well.
No, I'm talking about it was. Who do I have? I see.
Essentially, just a lot of teams
Genty?
had high bids. They've got to have the money to make them.
It was Genty,
Ergo,
Henderson at 50, Genty at 55. Again,
Henderson,
I guess that.
Hampton,
Robinson,
Rob Bijan, yeah,
and Williams, Kyron Williams, 60, yeah, yep.
And then there's some over or close to 50s in that mix too. Like Travion Henderson at 56 is wild to me, even though it's not a $60 bid, right?
Yeah, I mean the running backs that used to go.
I counted him. I counted him in that count. Like that's 6 running back. Half the league bought a running back over $55.
Wild.
Yeah, the running backs that used to go for 40 to 45 are now going for 50 to 55, right? And it's just like people are just like, no, I'm spending it on this. I'm not getting caught with all this money and nothing to spend it on, right?
It's one of the wildest shifts in sort of keeper behavior and spending behavior that I've seen in a bunch of years.
Yeah. So, all right. That said, let's get into each team and how they decided to spend that money. While we're doing it, we're just going to run across the draft board for those of you following at home. The draft board that was shared with everybody that we used during the draft. And we're going to start with the Dying Gnomes, who decided to keep Lamar Jackson at 23, Josh Jacobs at 38, Christian McCaffrey at 63. Might be the second most expensive keeper ever, I think, outside of Adrian Peterson back in the day. Jerry Jeudy at 6, and Jacoby Myers at 4 for a total of $134. So he only had $66 to spend, which 29 of it he spent on Breece Hall, and 21 of it he spent on Ted McMillan, leaving him with $10 left for the rest of his roster.
Jeez.
What do we think here? Hillers, we'll start with you. What do you think of Watson's roster / draft?
I don't think it's going to be one of the league's top teams. I think it's going to kind of be in the middle of the pack. There's definitely highlights. It's not by any means the worst thing I've ever seen, but it looks like he tried to be the guy that picked mid-dollar players consistently down your roster in the worst possible year for that, and ended up getting a guy who kind of has like some bad news, or some bad hype coming out of the preseason in Breece Hall, and a guy that has a more positive hype, but is sort of maybe more of a gamble with Ted McMillan. And it's not like I think he got terrible value for either of those teams. It's just like, this seems like a solid team, but I think you need more highlights to be in the top echelon of this league, and I'm not certain yet that they can get there.
Nick, what do you think?
F. This is the horrible draft. Absolutely abysmal draft. And this is going to be a spoiler for anyone, since I color-coded these. If you have 2 yellow spots on your roster, you have terrible
draft. What do you mean
draft.
by 2 yellow spots?
On the draft, I coded it so that way if you had 4 running backs or 5 wide receivers, the yellow your field would highlight yellow, so that way you could have 1 more player, and then once you hit that 5th or 6th player, it would go highlight red, saying you can't do this anymore. And I am a firm believer in you leave the draft with as many weapons as you can start, and I just think that if you leave with your draft with not 5 running backs and or 6 wide receivers, you've completely botched your draft. And
so max out running backs and wide receivers.
Max out running backs or wide receivers, you don't have to,
you took the longest possible way.
You don't have to do them both. Well, Meryl's asking for an explanation of what I meant by that. So half of my explanation was saying what the yellow and red meant.
Yes.
But to your point, but to echo what Hitler said, is that even the players that he got, it is not lighting the world on fire, and his keepers aren't exactly things that are lighting the world on fire in hindsight. Christian McCaffrey at $63 sounds great, and hopefully he can still come back to Christian McCaffrey, but do you really trust that he's going to be returned $63 worth of value? Jerry Jeudy came along great at the end of the year, but do you really trust that Cleveland quarterback situation?
Let me stop you on the McCaffrey thing. If Christian McCaffrey stays healthy all year, where does he finish among running backs?
Oh, fantastic! Totally get it.
He's running back 1, right? I don't think it's close, right?
We're not arguing that, but we're saying right now, what is this team? And I think this team has too many question marks. And if we're judging his draft, I think he had a failure of a draft for those reasons.
Yeah, I was going through this and looking. There's going to be a theme with a lot of these teams where it's like, what did this team need? Well, they needed wide receivers. Did they accomplish that in the draft? Maybe not. This team did not accomplish that in the draft. Who was Watson's wide receiver one?
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough.
You got to start two of them, right? Like,
and that's where you're starting. You're starting at Jeudy and going down from there, right?
Well, and to be fair, the Jacoby Myers news saying like he wants out of there now is.
I don't care about the Jacoby Myers news, right? Let's say he stays, whatever. Like, do you want Jacoby Myers? I like Jacoby Myers. I think he's a great like flex wide receiver. But like, but I say it's a theme because like a lot of these teams are like, oh, this team really needed to draft wide receivers. But again, we go back to like there weren't a ton of wide receivers available, right? It's like you just couldn't go get a wide receiver one. They just weren't out there.
This is one of those teams that like didn't have quite as much money, put in the one big bid, or in this case, the one big keeper for CMC, and was like the best available for him at that value was him hoping that Tet McMillan ends up being a wide receiver one. And I think that's where he pinned his hopes here.
I mean, you say you didn't like his keepers. I think he's got the second best. I did my power rankings on position scarce. I think he's got the second best running back group in the league with CMC and Josh Jacobs. I mean, that's incredible. And then he's got Lamar, who's one or two, depending on how you look at it for fantasy quarterbacks. Sure. So like those are great keepers. It's just when you get to the wide receivers, man, it falls off fast on this team.
Well, that's why I have him mid. Like he's got some strength, he's got a weakness.
Yeah, so. He decided to spend $29 on Breece Hall. Don't love that. I'm just not a Breece Hall guy. I think that's going to be a time split with him and Braylon Allen this year. Is it Braylon Allen? Braylon Allen, right? Why does that seem hard for me all of a sudden to remember?
Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards was the receiver.
Oh.
Right? For the Browns back in the day?
Yes. Yeah.
Alan Rickman.
Braylon Allen. Right? He's Alan Rickman. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, tough wide receiver core. He's going to be struggling to make up for that. He's going to be coming from behind on that giggity all year. So, yeah. I don't know.
Who's next? Who do we roast next?
He finished ninth in the Merrill preseason power rankings, by the way.
Yeah. The next one. Bring out the next victim. Yeah. Who is it?
Slod Tadpoles are next.
Get ready to get it, Larf.
I got to find them on my sheet here so I can line them up in the frame. There we go. Slod Tadpoles came in keeping Josh Allen, not bad, $16. Saquon Barkley, $49. T. Higgins, $19, who he traded for. And Sam Laporta at $7 for a total of $91, which left him with $109 to spend in the draft. With that money, he spent, and Hillers, you mentioned spending like mid amount of money on a lot of players. I think Larf did that. He spent 28 on Kamara, 21 on Sutton, 22 on Aaron Jones, 20 on Travis Hunter. 5 on Shakir and 5 on Jaden Reed.
He executed that strategy the best out of anyone this year.
Yeah, I think Nick was another one. We'll get to Nick, but Nick was another one who did kind of that too. So, so Nick, what looking at the Tadpoles here, what do you think about?
He had a great draft. I think he had a great draft. Now, my bias is more on this strategy where you are kind of spreading your money around a little bit instead of going after that one big player. So. Maybe that's why I liked his draft a little bit more, but I do love that he, whoever nominated Kamara when they did, like Kamara went for, 28, 33, like somewhere in
265 points last season. That's a good value for that in a regular year. So a great value this year.
I mean, but who knows what the Saints, like that offense is a disaster.
No. Was it good last year?
Right.
I mean, last year at least had Derek Carr
for some of it.
For through some, like he was at least, and wasn't Kamara's like he scored like 200 of those 238 points in the first 4 weeks. Like he was on fire those first couple of weeks last year.
That could save a season here too,
So yeah, no, but I like that. I mean, listen, I love Kamara. I think for $28, that's a great buy. I like Sutton. Like the people that he went after, I like. So yeah, I think that it works out well for this team, and I think that he executed his strategy that he wanted. He got the guys that he wanted, and yeah.
Hillers, what do you think?
A little to add to that, high hopes for Larf this year. I have him as one of the top teams in the league because I think with the extra flex spot, having a little bit of extra depth is going to be even more important. and it's going to be a little bit tougher for those stars and scrubs guys. And he executed very well in the draft this year off of both of those things. So I think he's going to be very successful. A lot is going to have to go wrong for him to not be competitive weekly. And that's just tough to beat over a long season. So,
yeah, kind of, it's going to be a theme again, but I mean, what did he need to do coming into the draft, right? You're keeping Josh Allen, Saquon, and T. Higgins, and Laporta, right? So you're basically like
you got somebody everywhere.
You did not screw it up.
Yeah, you had to not screw it up, right? And I think grabbing these boring picks of Aaron Jones and Alvin Kamara for right around the $30 mark is. I think it's really good. These are guys nobody wants. They're not going to spend a lot of money on, and these are guys who are going to return points for you, I think. So,
yeah.
I like that. I'm not a Travis Hunter guy. What do you guys think about Travis Hunter?
I mean, I don't believe much preseason hype, right? Like, I try to take it with it like a huge old basket assault, and I just haven't seen much from him in the NFL yet, and not every rookie is going to light the league on fire. Could he overperform? Sure, but like I didn't see any evidence, and I tried to read a lot, that said is like this is gonna be, the big new thing. This is gonna be like a Puka Nacua situation this year or something like that.
I think in an IDP league, he would be a crazy like that's the kind of guy. Like in an IDP, I think that'd be really interesting to see what he went for. But
that's interesting. Yeah, but the funny thing about that, like so Shohei Ohtani, who's a batter who hits and pitches, right? He's two different players in baseball. You can draft Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher.
Oh, wow.
And you draft Shohei Ohtani, the batter, right? So
wild.
So I wonder if they would break it up that way for Hunter. But
I guess they would have to because you would have to start him in that position.
They usually just they usually just let you, list him as two and let you start him in either spot.
No, you have to start.
I mean, who cares? We don't do it that way. But I guess my big thing is like they could have drafted him to play corner. Like he might not even play wide receiver for this team, right? Like, except on like weird special pack. Like, he might never be on the field as a wide receiver. It's like for me, it's just hard. I don't know. There's some people who are like all in, like, no, this guy's like he's the next Bo Jackson. Like, he's incredible. He's Deion Sanders. He's like, and maybe he is, but like,
if at the end of the season he is,
corner.
The NFL Players Association won't allow you to won't let him do this like full time.
He'll be deported.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they're gonna like the amount because if he's going to play defense and offense like that, they're going to say like, well, you pay him for a corner and pay him for a wide receiver. Like the NFL Players Association is not going to allow a player to do that without being overly compensated.
It's his rookie contract. It's the same as everybody's basically.
They allowed it in the past with Deion Sanders.
Have you met the internet today?
Yeah.
What are you, his agent? What do you care what he's getting paid?
But I'm just saying, like, maybe anyway. Like, I don't get it. We don't need to spend a ton of time on him.
This isn't the Travis Hunter kind of podcast.
It just seemed like a lot for me for a guy who might only play corner, right? Like, I don't know. So, guy might never play wide receiver.
I'll tell you what. I'll start drawing up the Hunter simulator.
But anyway, so yeah, good job by Larf. I had him third in my preseason power rankings, just kind of steady across the board. I mean, Josh Allen obviously puts him at the top in quarterback, strong running back core. Wide receivers are kind of meh, but whatever. And Laporta puts him.
It's a big, beefy, robust team. It's going to be hard. Like they're going to have a lot of options and a lot of trade pieces.
Yeah. And one of the
they can only get better. Yeah.
And then, all right, so Dad Dicks are next. Find them on my sheet.
Now this.
And now this. Dadix came in keeping Jaden Daniels at 14, James Cook at 16, David Montgomery at 29, which was kind of a surprise to me. For some reason, Jamar Chase at 37, and for some reason, CeeDee Lamb at 26. I don't know what that adds up to, but he didn't have a ton of cash to spend. So he then spent cash. He spent 14 of it on Tyler Warren, 16 of it on Travis Etienne, 7 on Jaden Higgins, 7 on Jaden Blue, and $28 on Ricky Pearsall, which was one of the fastest and most surprising auction players in the draft. By the way, when that happened, that was kind of wild. Nick, what'd you think of Graham's draft?
So you know how I was said that if you have yellows, you're going to be an automatic failure in my book.
Sure.
Also, if your name's Dad Dicks.
Really?
I hated this draft. I just didn't think like he didn't need, like, again, we're not talking about the team. We're talking about what did he need? And I think that James Cook's progression is going to come down. David Montgomery did great, but like, are they just going to like, is Jameer Gibbs going to be the guy now? Like, he had so many question marks to be able to come in that you kind of needed with James Cook and David Montgomery. You need to kind of come in swinging and bolster your team a little bit more. Like, you needed to come in and get that another RB2. You need to get like that wide receiver that's going to like fill out your roster. Like, he needed to come in like and get those guys to fill out his roster, and I just don't think he did. Like, the biggest he spent on was Ricky Parasol, and like, don't get me wrong, he got $20 because he and I were bidding on him, and I wanted Ricky Parasol.
What kind of idiot would pay $27 for Ricky Parasol?
Yeah, because at that point in the draft, he was the last guy. Like, that was it. It was that, and
he was the last one, and then the cliff.
He was the last one with any kind of potential to be like maybe like a wide receiver, like a top 15 guy, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm not spending 30 on him. and like, I don't know if that hurts my team, and like in the long run, like maybe I should have gone up to 30, and
we'll get to your team.
You know, it became morally objectionable to you.
Yeah, but I was just like, so that's why. And I feel like that it was like 1, 2, like that was it got up to $28 at $1 increments. Like that, I felt like that Ricky Parasol thing took forever, and I was involved in that.
It did.
I felt like it stalled out at like 10. And then it went up to like 15, and then it stalled out again.
It was also
everybody waited to the third. Every single fucking person waited to the third count.
But it was also late in the draft, and so everybody's kind of looking at their board trying to find these, like, all right, well, I've only got this many roster spots left. Here's who I want. Like, so you're looking through your sheet, and like, so nobody really hears what's going on in the back. And all of a sudden, you look up and you're like, wait, how much? You know,
right? Yeah,
it does. It really. And like, I know it's funny to like, you know, kind of go back to what we were talking about though. Is that it's like when you're in the draft, like you definitely get to that point where it's like that roster spot becomes so strategic because like you start just like buying things so early in the first couple of rounds, and then you're like, I can get one more running back, and and it's my turn to nominate. Like, is it my turn to nominate? Like, when do I want to nominate the guy that I want? Like, I really want this person. Do I want to pull the trigger on this person or hope that the next person comes up? Like, you just get into this. Like, it's really fun. It's really fun.
So you hated the draft.
I hated his again. Okay. I hated his draft. I hated his draft.
To sum up,
all right.
Grimes is the worst
Hillers, what do you think, Hillers?
No, it wasn't spectacular, but it didn't really need to be for this to be like a really scary team. You know, I feel like it's hard to find weaknesses here for me that I feel like, okay, other than being maybe a little bit brittle, right? But it's like, I think you could start a winning weekly starting lineup out of this team any week, basically, if the expectations for the players are roughly correct. So I have it as one of the league's top teams. I think it's like, you know, you don't love the whole thing when you see it on the roster page. When you see it on the who's my opponent starting this week page, it's going to look fucking terrible.
Especially those receivers. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, couple notes. For one, he drafted 5 white guys. Now, I'm not saying anything, you know, I just found that interesting. Just saying.
You know, I need to adjust what I think he meant by spiciness.
And it seemed like every white guy who's not on his team is named Jaden. And I don't know what that means either, but there's a lot of Jadens and a lot of white guys on this team.
But it's pretty sus, is what we're saying, Grimes. Get it together.
You know Jaden Daniels is black, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's either a white guy or a Jaden. It's one or the other, right? And so it seems like that's kind of what he went with. So
sort your squad out, Grimes. Sort him out.
Yeah, just look. Maybe there's something subconscious going on. I don't know. I don't want to dig into it too much. We don't want to psychoanalyze it all. What I will say is, jumping back, like if there is a weakness with this team, it's running back. I think there's some risks there. This is one of the few teams that has like this is the best wide receiving core in the league. CD
runs away with it.
It's like no one,
anyone that argues with that makes themselves sound stupid.
Yeah,
you know, it's like Michael Jordan. This is obviously the best starting running back, wide receivers. Yeah.
But then you look at his top 2 running back, James Cook, who everybody says is going to have major touchdown regression because so many of his points came from touchdowns last year. That's not reliable, whatever. And then David Montgomery, who everybody's saying, no, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have so many more touches this year. He's going to take another step towards leading that backfield. Montgomery's going to take a step back. You know, so if that happens, like this, you know, if there's any weakness here, which I don't really think there is, I think it's a great team, like you were saying, Hillers. But if there is a weakness, it's running back. But every team's going to have a weakness, right? Nobody's got a perfect team. So, I think good draft. I had him at 5 in my power rankings. Not great at running back, and not great depth either. So, next team is the Wounded Ducks, which is interesting. The Ducks had a very non-Duck draft here, Hillers. They kept Bucky Irving at 8, Devonta Smith at 21, George Kittle at 13, Ashton Genty at... I'm sorry, and then they drafted Ashton Genty at 70, Devonta Adams at 29, Marvin Harrison at 25, and Zach Charbonnet at 8 were the big picks. So the Ducks coming out spending early in the draft, Hillers. What'd you think of how it went?
Loved it. I think he did an incredible job. I was so proud of Dez, because it's like he saw the writing on the wall after the first 3 running back nominations and just did what it took to get one of the last guys. And it's like, do I think, would I be super comfortable spending $70 on a rookie? No, but that was this year's draft. And a guy looks awesome. There's no reason he won't succeed. I don't think he'll be the number 1 running back in the league, and you're almost paying that kind of price, $70. But the cliff was coming. And you either end up being the guy that has Genty at 70 or the guy that has Hampton at 65, right? And so it's like you can't really fault him. And with the rest of his money, I think he picked a few different places to get in at that mid-range value and get some of the best players available at that tier. And like when to see what some of the wide receivers are going for, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. could have a $25 season easily. It's like I was impressed with the draft. The team itself had such a long way to go. I don't know if we're going to see him in the title this year.
100%. Like there's a few teams. There's a few teams like that, right? And we'll get to them. But that's a great.
But he's making the right moves to try to win this year and to build the team while he's going. So love the draft. Don't know if the team is going to be competitive across the league. Maybe in division.
Yeah, Nick, what'd you think?
Tier draft, S tier. Like this was a phenomenal draft. I absolutely loved the draft. He filled all the needs that he needed. He came in and spent his money wisely. Very un-Dez-like, but he did everything right that he needed to do. Like I just absolutely love this draft. S draft.
There's players that like you understand why people draft them. Like it's like no, I get it. Like I get why. It's like music, right? It's like no, I understand. Like they're good. Like they're just not for me, right?
Right.
This draft was full of those people for me. Honestly. Yeah. Like this was like, I think Ashton Genty's going to stink. By the way, I'm calling a bust.
Nice.
Calling a bust on Genty. I don't know. I've got very anecdotal evidence to point it out. Guy played for Boise State. He got to the college football playoff. I don't know if you guys watched when he played Ohio State. Got absolutely crushed by those guys. Couldn't get anything going. And I'm concerned that he kind of racked up all those rushing yards in a bad conference in college football. And maybe when he gets to NFL talent, he's not going to be able to do it. That's just kind of a concern of mine. I think he's going to stink. Bucky Irving, I don't get it. Not for me. Not my guy. $8. Obviously, you got to keep him. I understand it. He'd go for 50 plus.
Yeah,
he'd go for 50 plus if he was out there. I'm not paying it, but somebody would. Right?
I would have done it.
Yeah,
I would have done it. Yeah,
this is just a roster full of like Devonta Smith. Don't get it. He's my crazy pills guy. Like not for me. Like people love him so much.
I love Devonta Smith. I would rather have him than AJ Brown on my team.
Whoa,
that's crazy to me. Like, how could you ever say that? Devonta Smith is never going to finish as a top 10 wide receiver, but he's always going to finish as a wide receiver like 15. Right?
You know what? And that's the thing about this team is
not going to win you a league.
I don't share your dislike of the players. I actually have the same sort of mid-level like feeling about all those players that you have the mid-level disdain. But I like them all. But where's the top 10 guys here other than George Kittle?
Well, it'd be Genty, it'd be Bucky.
Yeah, you're hoping, right?
You're hoping Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison. Like I can see the narratives that get you there, right? Marvin Harrison has a good
for
second
loads
year.
Of teams, but like some teams, like we just talked about,
Kittle,
Dix came in with nailed on top 10 players, right?
Yeah,
and so.
I see all the potential here in all these guys. I just don't want any of them. Honestly,
so much
they're not my guys. I don't like them. So
it is team potential this year.
And I'm sure people say that about the guys I drafted. I get that. It's fine. Like you've got those people you draft, and you're like, no, I get it. I understand it. Like for some reason, I'm not excited to draft these people. So I don't know. I think he did great spending the money. He spent it early. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. And props to him for doing that. The other thing you said, Hillary, was spot on. Was about how when you have such a long way to go, you have to draft what's there. Right? There's only so many things available for you to get.
You could just
And
have a
so-
couple of good drafts in a row and turn the team around. I think he's on
if
the
you
right
can-
track.
If you can hit on 1 to 2 guys a draft, like that's going to get you going, right? So
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a bad draft. I think it's a good draft. I've got him in 10th in my power rankings right now, but again, had a long way to go. Some of these guys could break right. I'm probably wrong on all of them, and then maybe they're good, and maybe that gets better. So. Who's next team here? Not gonna happen. Chiefs. They came in keeping Jahmyr Gibbs at 59, Derrick Henry at 48. That's a lot of money on running backs right off the bat there.
So much.
Amon-Ra at 18, Xavier Worthy at 6, and TJ Hawkinson at 5. His big picks were A.J. Brown at 46.
And that's it.
And that's it. And he sat on the phone for 4 hours for that. So thanks for hanging out.
What a mensch! Way to
Yeah.
go! Thanks, Tyler. Yeah.
What Nick? What'd you think of Tyler's draft here?
I don't think he addressed anything that he needed. I am 100% going to buy into the idea that there's no evidence to support this, but that cliff has to be kind of coming for Derrick Henry in one way or another. Like, he has to not be Derrick Henry at some point, and maybe he's not.
Is he Superman? Maybe, or is this
Like,
cliff
maybe
actually coming?
he is. And you throw him back into the draft, and Nick,
for Cyborg.
yeah, Nick, if he got thrown into the draft, would I be saying $50 if he was available? 100%. Like would I draft him? Yes, but I'm glad I'm not in a position where I can. I'm glad I'm in a position where I can look down my nose at him for doing it. Yeah, no, it's you needed a quarterback, you needed you needed to fill out the rest of your roster, and drafting AJ Brown who's already struggled with hamstring injuries throughout his career, already entering training camp with a hamstring injury,
Yeah, but
that's what you spent your money on. I'm.
You're the guy who threw him back. To be fair, you're the guy who decided not to keep him for around that price. To be fair, so
I know, and honestly, it was because and me going first. It was the fact that he already had that hamstring injury. I was like, you know what? If he's already having that hamstring injury, I don't want to deal with this all season long. Now, is he great? Absolutely, but yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra,
AJ Brown.
Xavier Worth. That's fine. That seems like a pretty solid
really
core.
fucking good. That's not fine. That's really
incredibly good.
Really good.
So
I hated.
good.
I again. What we're talking about is the draft and not the team itself. And I just don't like his. I don't like his draft. I
he
think
just chose to spend 90% of his money on AJ Brown, right? And then
Yeah.
so done. So let's say he got the best wide receiver available, and he was going to spend whatever it took to get him, right? This is the Pritchard model that we were talking about a little earlier, and he did it. And then we have to look at beyond that. What did he do beyond that? And you look at players like Xavier Legette, Darnell Mooney, Josh Palmer, Justice Hill, Tyler Algier, Rashad
That's
White.
what you get at those prices, right?
It's like
That's what's left in the bin.
If something happens to Derrick Henry, he has that handcuff. If something happens to Bijan, he has that handcuff.
This team isn't a mystery. It was stars and scrubs, and he kept all his stars, and he said, "I'm going to pay whatever it takes to get the best wide receiver," and he did it. So it's I'm not super inclined to say, "Oh, what did he do with $16 that he had left in his budget?" You know what I mean? It's is that strategy viable? It's just going to be totally injury dependent. But in terms of starting lineup, this is another one of the teams where I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't love the look of the roster. And then I thought about the starting lineup, and I go, oh, Jesus Christ, how's anybody going to
I don't want to play against this roster.
It's horrifying. To play against all those guys? Absolutely not.
But his 13th player is not very good. It's who the fuck cares?
But it's a brittle squad for sure. But
and you figure, right,
all they have to do is not be hurt.
And you figure at the start of the draft, we were all under the assumption that Rashee Rice was going to be suspended
mid-season
in week 5 through 11. But now the fact that he's serving that suspension week 1 through 6, that makes Xavier Worthy's right out of the gate value so much higher.
True.
Right?
I was shocked that he went for that. Shocked.
He kept him.
Oh, well, then I'm shocked.
You're shocked he kept him?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not.
I'm standing by it.
Okay. You stay. I like it. Stand for something.
I'm holding both things as
Stand
true
by your
in my
takes.
mind.
I love it. No, yeah, this is a team I think like holding
we gotta
on.
double down, right?
This is a team holding on to a core that they're hoping can get them one more title, right? And they're like 1 to 2 years away from blowing it up and being like, and coming to the draft with $175 to spend on players, right? And just being like, all right, let's. If this goes bad, Jahmyr Gibbs and Derrick Henry will be on the block in week 8. You know, like that's just going to be the case. If this could be a team that finds themselves at whatever.
This could be team fire sale,
or 3-7 or whatever going in, and
yeah,
and this could be the team everybody's looking at and be like, hey man, how about some Jahmyr Gibbs? You want to send that one? I mean, he maybe not him because he's probably keepable at that price based on this year, but Derrick Henry, who knows? So, but yeah. Terrifying starting lineup. I think gonna be in it for another year.
All you can hope is that he's later in the season on your schedule at this point, and for some of these guys to get hurt or something bad to happen to them, because it's
I hated the draft. I have him at number 1 in my power rankings right now, just based on starting lineup.
It is a horrifying starting lineup.
Yeah, what we're talking about is the draft itself, though, right? Like we're talking about, did you address your needs?
I hated the draft. I mean, I hated it. I hated every part of it. I think it's the worst draft, honestly. Maybe tied with another draft that's coming up, but. Just because even the players he got after A.J. Brown, I hated all of them. I didn't get it. I don't like them. They're not usable. Like I don't know what to do with them. So
you know what? Looking at my power rankings, I don't think I looked at the starting lineup of this team hard enough. Even saying that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So, I think I might have to adjust them. This team
it's like he body swapped with Pritchard this year, right? And this is the worst bench I've ever seen. Like ever, and I think I said I said that about Watson a year or two ago. This bench is horrific. I mean, it is. It's bad. So
it's ready for the holidays.
All right, next team, Hitmen. Kind of in the same vein of the Dez model we talked about, I think here. But Hitman came in keeping Drake May at 4, J.K. Dobbins at 10, and Malik Neighbors at 25. Picks were DK Metcalf or Trayvon Henderson 56, DK Metcalf 28, Emeka Egbuka 22, Tank Bigsby 15, Joe Mixon 10, Quinshon Judkins 7, Debo 8, Keenan Allen 6. Hillers, thoughts on
why don't you start off, Bill? You haven't started us off. Why don't you tell us about your strategy?
What were you thinking? I
can tell you what he was thinking. He was getting Trayvon Henderson no matter the cost.
Well, yeah, he was a big target of mine. I wanted to come in to get Egbuka and Trayvon Henderson. Those were the two that I really wanted. And Judkins was kind of a third that I'm like, I feel like he could be a value later in the year. Obviously, we talked about Dez being like, it's like, look, you do the best you can. You got a long way to go. You do what you can to start climbing up that hill, right? And I feel like I've started doing that. I've picked up some pieces that I can build off of. It's a team that I don't think is great right now, but it's a team that I'm excited about. Like I look forward to rooting for. Like all the guys on here, I'm kind of excited to root for. Right, like Trayvon and Egbuka and even Debo and obviously I love Keenan Allen. Drake May, I love. Like these are guys that like I'm excited to root for, and I don't know. It's a team I'm looking forward to. Do I think I'm going to compete? I don't know. Maybe. I've got myself I think 11th in my power rankings. So not good. But coming in, I just wanted to get some young pieces to build on, as well as some like older players that can maybe kind of be reliable to bridge the gap when we getting there.
Yeah. So it's team lottery ticket. This entire season is going to be you sitting sweaty with a bunch of tickets in your hand every week, going, go Emeka. You know what I mean? Go Travion, and seeing how far they pan out. I don't know if there's that many paths to have that collection of guys all pan out in a way that I think you're like championship competitive. I think you picked good guys. In some cases, the ones that I wanted, minus Judkins. But there are opportunities up and down the lineup. This is one of those things that's just, if enough of those click over, you very well could have some values on your hands here and a building block for next year. Even in that scenario, I don't know if I'm thinking championship team, because it's like, I think you've got only Malik Neighbors scored over 250 points last season. And I know you got a lot of rookies, but not a lot of history. So it's, team lotto ticket.
He was the winner of Kyle Pitts, though.
This will be the year.
I'm really glad that you actually went first, Merrill, because the fact that you understand that your team might not be the best, but that you're kind of cheering for them, like it made me think that this is the kind of team where you'll love playing DFS every week because you're like, sweet, I don't need to worry about my real team. Like I just like these are the kind of guys that I'm going to draft in DFS every week and cheer for, and still kind of build a team around. Like I don't know. I agree with you. I really like your draft. No, I don't really like your draft. I think your draft was above average. But I like your draft in the sense.
Really like your draft? Let me take that back. I don't like.
Let me take it down. Actually, garbage is what I think.
I like your draft after hearing you explain what your strategy was. That you were able to execute it okay. That you were able to execute your strategy. You got the guys that you wanted. I mean, I knew you wanted Trayvon Henderson, and I was with you up until $56, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" I was thinking about it the other day. I don't remember where we were in the draft, but what was I thinking that I could afford a $55 Trayvon Henderson that my team? How differently would my team have played out if I had him? That I would who would I have been able to get at that point? When he came up,
I think he outscores Genty this year.
There's a certain kind of guy.
You said that.
That you're going to get if you're looking for low dollar value and high ceiling. And Mike has a lot of those guys. So he got him. So that was his strategy. He executed it. Good draft as far as where the team is, low mid.
Yeah, I said, 11th
until they prove otherwise. Yeah.
11th in the power rankings. Running back is a problem. You look at that running back core, outside of Travion, who is a question mark himself.
Who you're excited about.
Yeah, he's a giant question mark, and I'm not going to deny that. What is there? There's not much, right? And it's just a lottery tickets, right? It's Bigsby.
When Dameon Pierce is on your lineup, yeah, it's a cry for help.
Yeah, the Joe Mixon at 10 at the time, he wasn't on IR yet. Nobody everybody knew there was a problem, but nobody knew how serious it was or whatever. So I was like, that was kind of a thing. But
right.
Your draft was above average. Whether in hindsight, a week later and the team as a whole, different story. But I think that your draft itself was above average.
I was happy with
it. C+.
The guys I'm looking forward to rooting for, so we'll see.
All right.
But again, I think my team stinks. I got myself ranked 11th, like I said. So, but I look forward to rooting for it. Hillers, you are next. Let's get into it. Where are you on the sheets? Right here. Hiller's Fun Things. Don't love the name, by the way. First off, let me just
Fun Things. Fun Things. They
I
should be
thought it was going to be
fun.
Hiller's workshopping it.
They should be fun. Yeah, but I tried it, but I didn't like it. So but then I was like, well, what else is fun? Fun Things should be fun, and so I put that.
Came in keeping Baker Mayfield at 4, Chase Brown 16, Devon Achane at 9, Ladidi McConkey at 9, and Brock Bowers at 13.
Thank you, Harold.
Big picks were Bijan at 66, staying with the team. Rome Adunes at 16. Matthew Golden at 14. Kyler at 8. Javonte Williams at 8. Jawan Jennings at 13. Cam Scattaboo at 11. Hillers, take us through the strategy and what got you here.
First part of the strategy, get Bijan. Or I'm sorry, Bijan.
Done.
I'm not being intentionally disrespectful. Yeah. After that, the draft got pretty wild for me, and I realized, oh my god, players are going for so much more money than I expected them to. Was I hoping to come in and get a solid wide receiver too? Yes, but I could not when Ricky Pearsall went for $28. I was like, that's just too much. I think I can spread this around a little bit, start doing some lottery tickets. I ended up, just because I thought their value was right at the time, with some guys that I'm not completely thrilled with. But I think the wide receiver 2 position is probably the easiest position to trade for or acquire off the waiver wires. It happens multiple times this season. I think I can work it out, and I have high hopes for guys like Golden and Adunes, and my running back core I love because they're the strongest. They're my biggest, strongest boys.
Nick, what do you think? Or you want me to go?
You can go ahead and go.
All right. So worst draft, in my opinion. Again, we talk about what were the goals coming in, right? So you kept Baker Mayfield at 4, meaning I've got a keeper quarterback here. I'm good there. I got my keeper. And you kept the best tight end in the league at Brock Bowers at 13, which obviously you do that. I mean, Brock Bowers is an absolute stud. Then you chose to spend $15 backing up those players with a $7 Brenton Strange and an $8 Kyler Murray. Now, who are you starting week 1 at quarterback? I don't know. You're going to be bouncing back and forth each week trying to figure out which one's right and probably, guessing wrong.
I don't think so.
Half the time. Your real goal should have been, because then let's look at your running backs. You're coming in with Chase Brown and Devon Achane. My God, you've got 2 top 15 running backs. We're good there. What's our wide receiver core look like? All right, well, I've got Ladd McConkey, stud, great, but I feel like I need to, shore this up a little bit. And you decide to spend $66 on Bijan and then follow that up with Rome Odunze, Matthew Golden, Jawan Jennings, who's hurt. And that's how you decide to fill out that wide receiver core.
Jordan Addison is suspended.
And Jordan Addison is another guy I don't get. I don't understand it. I don't know why people love him. The guy's suspended. I don't get it.
$3, I just thought there was value, and I had like $10. So
sure, yeah. So I don't know. When you look at the goal and what you needed based on the keepers you had, I thought you missed every bar that you had to clear.
But let me recontextualize this. You guys have been saying that.
Oh, you had your chance. You had your chance. You had your chance.
No, this isn't about my team.
No, he can respond.
This is about what makes for a good draft, and I think if you get players at good value, right? That should count. If you get the highest value players and the weaknesses that you have are relatively easy to replenish, that's not necessarily a super poor draft because you didn't decide to pay $50.
Who's your wide receiver two? Who's your wide receiver 2?
Golden, I think.
Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Merrill, who has more
came into the
catches
draft?
as-
You came into the
Merrill,
draft
who
with
has more-
$150, and your wide receiver 2 is Matthew Golden.
Hey Merrill,
this is kind of my point.
Merrill, who has more catches in the NFL, you or Matthew Golden?
we were tied actually. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's numbers. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, we have the same. We're the same, basically.
The same.
We're both athletes, So I guess that's my point. Is you came in with $150. You were short up at quarterback, running back, and tight end, and you spent a lot of money on quarterback, tight end, running back, and then not much money at wide receiver. To give you a good starter, I guess. And so that's kind of why I think it's worse draft because you didn't do what you needed to do to fill out your team and make your starting lineup better.
Bijan is here. It's all good.
Stud, for sure. I can't argue that.
It's all good.
Any thoughts, Nick?
Nothing that hasn't already been said. I don't think he had worst draft. I have him at a D-, so he had second worst draft. But for everything that Merrill just said, once again, you had 2 yellow players. You left with 4 running backs and 5 wide receivers. I don't understand your wide receiver core, but you don't need to. As a team, it's a little bit different story because with the additional flex spot, you can start 4 running backs. So your wide receiver 2 at that point kind of becomes your flex. Your wide receivers kind of become your flex at that point, on how you want to look at it based on how strong your team is. But again, as a draft, you barely passed.
Do you think the extra flex spot affected the draft and the money spent at all?
I think that
do you think D- is a passing grade?
I mean, D- isn't an F. I mean, D- is a low D. It is the lowest D that you can get without failing.
I don't think that's passing. I don't think you.
I
think by definition it is.
I think it is. If F is failing, anything that's not
if you're taking a pass-fail course and you get D- on all your stuff, you pass.
If you get a D-, you don't have to take the class again?
You know what?
No.
If I'm a doctor and I get D- in all my classes, you know what I am?
A doctor.
A doctor.
Not one that I want, but you're a doctor.
I'm a doctor. I have a medical degree from.
But seriously, do you going back though? Do you think the extra flex spot? You think that affected money spending at all, or do you think people just kind of went on what they knew?
I think it affected it in the sense that people were more aware, like they wanted to make sure that they hit on that extra. There was that one extra player that they wanted to make sure that they hit on. I think that it was great having that depth before, where it was yes, I want my bench to be as good as it can be, but I think that it was the extra care in that one extra position to make sure you got that extra guy that you wanted. So there may have been a couple extra dollars spent to make sure that you got that one guy that you wanted as that extra, because you knew that he was going to be starting.
That it makes it 2 extra guys that you might want, though, I think maybe contributed to the sort of studs and scrubs spending patterns, right? Because it's okay, I've done everything to get the one guy that I want. Now I've got another open guy. Let me just spend all the rest rather than trying to even it out. And obviously that's not true for every team. There's quite a few teams that did good spreading it out, but I think more people were willing to follow that. Okay, let me keep going on like max bid guys longer than they would have in other drafts.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know, man. It's going to be it's a big deal adding an extra like offensive roster spot like that. So we'll see how that pans out. Next team is the Gazebo, who are
Joe Burrow for 10, Chuba Hubbard for 7, Kenneth Walker for 24, DJ Moore for 25, and Jackson Smith and Jigba for 14.
Yeah, I can't make it work on the video, so sorry.
Big spenders were Kyron Williams for 60, Terry McLaurin for 21, and then a whole bunch of single player, like sub $10 players like Trey Benson, Austin Eckler, and Zay Flowers
at 8.
Of note that Godwin and Flowers both under $10 this year. That's quite a drop for both of those guys. If there's any juice in the tank, could be good value there.
Yeah, Nick, what did you think of Daria's draft?
I thought it was good. I have her as a B overall. I think that it was, she went after. Again, you spent $60 on a player, and you were able to spend your money. You were able to spread she was able to spread her money out. She spent $60 on Kyron Williams. Got one of the best running backs available in the draft, which I think surprised people that Williams was out there. It surprised me anyway. So it surprised at least one person. And yeah, I like them. I like the draft. I think that she did a really good job kind of filling out the team that she needed to kind of form a nice, well-rounded team.
What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, there's nothing that I hate here, but there's nothing that sets my heart aflame either. You know what I mean? It's like I think this was a team that was going for high floor, right? And just getting a host of guys that, based on the matchup, can get you in there with the points, and you get chugging along at like 118, 120 points a week kind of thing, and just hope that gets you to the top. It's that no problem with the draft or anybody taking her the value they were taking at. I think she had a great draft. I just think the team had a long way to go.
She had a weird draft where everybody she picked was like, really? Okay, I'll take. And honestly, every buy was like, yeah, it's a good buy. I like that. And it's like so if you want somebody doing supermarket sweep for like the best buys, great best draft by far, right?
Yes.
Found the best values.
Austin Eckler's starting, right?
This team can't win the championship. This team's like they can't win it. I'm sorry, and that's kind of why you're drafting, right? Like this team has an amazing set of values on the team and an amazing way to find values in the draft. But then you look at the team and you're like, I'm not scared of any part of this team at all. Like, there's nothing on this team that, like you said, like sets the heart aflame. Right? It's just like, it's a nothing. It's a big giant nothing.
That's my
burger.
new baseline.
and I say this every year about Daria, and I feel like I say this every year. And I'm sorry, Daria, I continue to say it, but it's every year it's the same thing. It's like, and you're great at finding values, you really are. But at some point, you got to push the chips in and go. And the person you pushed the chips in and went on was Kyron Williams. Like, that's even the big player you pushed the chips in on. It's like, really? Like, that's... And Kyron's fine. Like, yeah, really good, but nobody's excited. Like, Kyron is the most expensive player to draft that no one is excited about. Like, she managed to find that.
I mean, do you need to be excited about the person to be able to, put that together?
There's a reason people are excited about the player. I don't know. This team infuriates me.
He's very good. In fairness,
he's incredible. He's very good. He's on a good offense as long as Matt Stafford's
25 years old, right? Yeah. It's just the shit.
Who's RB2?
The $60 price tag is the only thing.
Kenneth Walker, who when healthy is amazing.
Right.
Not going to be healthy. Already has been banged up. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just,
it's
Zay Flowers is the mascot of this team. Everybody's like, everybody's like, Zay Flowers, incredible talent. I agree. I love Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers on the freaking, I don't know, the Bills, incredible, right? Like,
incredible talent.
But Zay Flowers on the Ravens is like the fourth option. Just doesn't have the ceiling. If you want somebody to get you like 10.5 points a game, Zay Flowers is your guy. Like, that's it. Enjoy that. You're going to have a bunch of that. This team has no ceiling. Like, it's just the ceiling is so low for this team. They cannot win the championship. I love every pick this team made because the values are great. But, enjoy your 9-8 season.
But the sum is less than its parts.
Yeah, enjoy barely missing the playoffs or maybe squeaking into a wild card. Like,
I don't know. I could see a thing like divisions pan out a certain way and this ends up being like, wow. Really? Just not losing games, right? We're just people shit the bed at the right time. It's possible.
You're eventually going to lose if you can't put up more than a certain number. Like, it can't.
I don't know. Grimes says otherwise.
It's not a championship team. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Andy's up next. Scrolling up to yay, Masters of Elegance.
There's the mastery.
So much elegance. Also, I had Daria at. Here's the weird thing. Second in my power rankings.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That incongruent. Walk us through that, Merrill.
I'm telling you, because the depth rating is so high, but then my power rankings need to be reevaluated. That's what I'm walking you through right now. My power rankings are stupid.
Jessica got done saying she can't win a championship. She has her technically in the championship.
And then be like, and in closing, that's my number 2 team.
No, when we do our predictions, you'll see. You'll see it's not the case. But power rankings at the moment, yeah. But the calculations are a little off, apparently.
They're a little wanky. It's first week.
We're workshopping it. Weenyay. Keepers. Caleb Williams, $4. Nico Collins, $15. Puka Nacua, $38. Tucker Craft, $4. Big Pip. Big Pips and picks.
Pips.
Marion Hampton is 65. Calvin Ridley, 26. Chris Olave, 12. Jalen Hurts at 19. Nick, we'll start with you, I guess. On the
good draft. I mean, I think that he came in with money, and he got the guy that he wanted. I mean, I think that Hampton was one of the big guys to go after. I think that it's crazy that he went for $5 less than Genty. But I think that, obviously it takes 2 people at least to get to that number. So, that's what the market drove for him. I like this team. I think that he came in with specific draft needs. I give him a B+. In hindsight, I'm not sure necessarily why. I think because it's just Andy always has the best draft, so I always want to give him a benefit of the doubt.
Well, if you look at each individual position and where they're starting in the lineup, it's a pretty strong team, right? Like, this is another team where the starting lineup, it's not as terrifying as some of the ones we've talked about, but it's pretty solid.
I mean,
Nico and Puka, scary, the running backs, maybe not so much, but let's say Omari and Hampton is really good. And, the Vindicator turns out.
Counterpoint. Let's say Omari and Hampton's not very good.
Well, the team's going to be bad. Is what's going to happen.
Team's going to be terrible.
Team's going to be
I know because I have the same team where, let's say, Travion Henderson's not very good.
Right. What's going to happen is the team's going to suck.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah. Reasonably strong wide receivers. I'd take that wide receiver into any game. But, not everything is there for this team.
I have them as the second best wide receiver. I mean, Puka and Nico, that's the second best combo in the league as far as your wide receiver 1 and 2. It's really good.
Yeah.
And then, following it up with Ridley and Olave, let me say what you want about those guys, but, Ridley.
The depth is there, especially in this
Ridley
draft.
had a weirdly good season with Will Levis at quarterback last year. And, I mean, I don't care who Cam Ward is. He's got to be better than Will Levis.
Right.
So
I think there's a reason why Ridley went for 26, right? And I think that he was still relatively early in the draft, I think. I forget where he came back. What I actually want to do next year is actually put the position when we nominate someone. I want to put the number when they came up, just so that way we can have that kind of idea to know where how much value that was.
Or just list the people when they were nominated, maybe, and just in an order or something. Yeah, that's a great idea. Dez is actually building an app that can maybe.
I know he is. I know.
Get it in the app.
Doesn't even talking about it.
That'd be a great feature for it, honestly.
Get it in the app. Yeah.
The other thing I'll say is Andy has gotten in a weird. He's in a weird trend right now where he refuses to draft running backs until there's 20 minutes left in the draft. And
there's one good
for him, luckily this time I think he kind of saved it with Braylon Allen, Jim Rome Ford, and Ramadre late. Look, are any of them world beaters? No. I think Braylon Allen is going to be just as good as Breece Hall this year. I think it's going to be a 50-50 time split. I think the Jets are going to run the ball 1,000 times, and Braylon Allen is going to be a big part of that. So I think that's going to turn out to be a pretty solid wide receiver 2/flex.
Is Rico Dowdle the league's first $0 player?
Yeah, how was Rico Dowdle $0?
Well, some waivers had run. I assume he picked him up.
No, they have. That was a roster fix for a misdrafted.
Yeah, no, I need to fix that then if that's the case, because I also know that I need to add $1 to one of my guys.
Yeah.
No is the answer to my question.
No,
he is not. Okay.
There's some calculations we got to work out.
Who has Rico Dowdle?
Andy. It's on his team.
The team we're talking about.
So anyway, we can get to that later. But I think solid draft. I think Jalen Hurts at 19, great value. Jalen Hurts is like weirdly this. Everybody loves Lamar and Josh Allen, and then they just kind of figure Jalen Hurts is in this next tier down, and he's really not. If you look at like his numbers and his reliability and the touchdowns he scores, dude's just a stud. So he's going to.
I don't know. 333 points last year to Lamar Jackson's 471.
Well, I mean, compare that to Lamar. Obviously is. But
I'm
go look at his week-to-week games. Like
yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
22,
you have to
25,
start him anyway.
22,
right,
20, 25, 28,
he's getting you where
22.
you need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly. So.
But those other guys, they throw some 40s in there too.
I mean, so does Hurts. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty good draft. I don't think it's best draft. I think Andy's out of like the best draft every year phase that we always put him in, but maybe that's good for him. CTR next. We're kind of getting towards the end of it here.
So he had Jordan Mason for $4, Justin Jefferson for $34, and Garrett Wilson for $16 were his keepers. Big picks included Tony Pollard for $30, Rashee Rice for $20, and Jalen Warren for $15.
And RJ Harvey for $41.
And RJ Harvey for $41. Totally missed that. Yeah.
Also, Jake Ferguson 8, Marvin Mims at 8, and Dak at 7 at quarterback. Hillers, what'd you think of Roscoe's draft?
I think it'll be too late for Rashee Rice to save this team. I don't think there's enough here to win games enough to have that Rashee Rice thing be able to save you with the $20 that he did there. I mean, you look at again. I'll go back to the starting lineup test, and this is one of the weakest. It's like this running back core is sickening. The best thing about it is that Tony Pollard might be better than expected this season. That's rough. You're banking on a complicated and hard to read running back situation in Denver. Your wide receivers, you're drafting some question marks. Although I will say he did get some values at the end with some guys that I pan out. I wanted Josh Downs. I wanted Marvin Mims. I didn't get either one. So hats off to those players at those values. But that's way down in the value list. That's not like this is all he needed to win the league.
Those aren't the staples you want to rely on.
Right. But that's the highlight, but it's not enough for them. I have it as.
Yeah. Nick, what'd you think?
I had him as one of the worst drafts. Again, you walked out with 4 running backs and 5 wide receivers. And he just didn't do anything to really kind of move the needle. There's just no great move that kind of jumps out at you. And the Rashee Rice thing definitely hurts this team coming out of the draft. Who's filling in that spot? Josh Downs?
Garrett Wilson. I mean it's Jefferson and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, but who's filling in? Who's he starting at what flex
who's
to?
Who's the flex?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Jalen Warren and Jordan Mason, I guess.
And it's not it's you got Trevor Lawrence for $1. You actively filled that spot with a backup quarterback. When you could have used that too. I just again, the draft itself I just hated, and the news as it's broken hasn't helped this team.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're hoping on is that RJ Harvey can grab the position and run with it, so to speak, right out of the gate. RJ Harvey being the guy, week 1 is the best thing that this team can hope for. Otherwise, if he's hoping for a week 5 that Harvey kind of starts to take the reins, that might be too late for him.
Yeah, Harvey has to work for this team.
Harvey has to hit. He has to hit early.
This team stinks. The draft stinks. The team stinks. The strategy, I don't know what it is. It stinks. It's just not good.
What would you say your review of the team is?
It's just like I don't know, man. Like,
hey, Mr. Johnson, what would you say this team is?
That said, he's number 1 in my power rank. No, I'm just kidding. He's 12th in my power rankings. Nice terrible running back. Like, there's just no redeeming quality of this team. Like, what? I mean, Justin Jefferson, I guess, is great. Who yay. But then you got Garrett Wilson on a team that's going to run the ball 1,000 times, as I just said. Like, Roscoe since 2021 when he won it last, like, low-key has been pretty terrible fantasy team since the blow-up happened. So, just throwing that out there that might be on notice here. Is Roscoe actually good at fantasy, or did he just catch lightning in a bottle for a few years?
Is he your new Grimes? Are you declaring a new nemesis?
Well, I mean, Grimes is still Grimes. Let's be fair. I mean,
Grimes is still Grimes.
He didn't even make the playoffs last year, I don't think.
No, but I think he's on a the high end of the sine wave teams.
I mean,
and this is the opposite. This is the nadir. You know what I mean? If they're both like get good and then bad and then good again.
But these were owners that, like, for years we were like, oh, these freaking guys. Blah, blah. And then you look at Roscoe's team right now, and it's like, oh my god, dude, what? Like, unless you got Darius' team, and then you're like, oh no, this is scary because anyway. But
it looks bombed out and depleted.
Yeah, so this could be a long season. This rebuild's still in process, and I'm not even sure where the rebuild's happening. Like, RJ Harvey, I guess you picked up as part of the rebuild, but like beyond that, what are we building around? Rashi Rice at 20, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I felt like he was aiming for next season, and you just shouldn't do that.
Right, yeah. This team stinks. Sorry. Gonna be alone here. Iron Pirate next. Iron Pirate kept James Conner, 23. Drake London, 35. You dirty bastard. Jameson Williams at 6. Trey McBride at 10. Big picks were DeAndre Swift at 26. Jalen Waddle at 23. Tyrone Tracy at 22. Stephon Diggs at 17. Caleb Johnson at 15, which may be the rookie running back buy of the draft. And then Justin Fields at 6. All right, Nick, take us through it.
Honestly, like, this is the most Nick team I could possibly have drafted, to be honest. Like, this is just hoping that my team, I don't even know. But like the strategy was to, like I was in on a lot of these bids. Like, I was with you on Trayvon Henderson. I was with like people on a lot of these bids, and then I was like, you know what? I have too many holes to fill, and there's too much depth out there that I'm not going to leave the draft with a whole bunch of money on the table, and I'm not going to overpay for players. So,
are there any of them that you wish you would have stayed in on?
I think that looking at how my team played out now in the long run, no, because like I can look at Trayvon Henderson and be like, man, if I had spent $60 on Trayvon, because like let's assume I get to 61. Let's assume you bowed out at 59 and I got him for 60. Like, what would that have done to my team? And like, then I'm just taking more flyers, and I don't know if I necessarily like my team if that's the case. Like, who on my team do I not like? Like at the end of the day, like, who on my team isn't going to be a starter? Efton Chesum, sure, he's not a starter, but like, anyone else I can plug in like as a week 1 starter and kind of be okay with it. So I'm kind of okay with that. I'm not happy with my team. I'm not happy with my starting lineup. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm going to win my week 1 lineup, but like, I feel confident starting and putting basically anyone in that spot, So
okay.
It was funny, Merrill. I like.
He sounds pretty excited about it, Hillers. What do you think?
Well, I just like that we left him some space there, and it got increasingly more like he was being like spilling everything in a police interrogation.
I love it?
He just keep talking, and then it just dead radio silence, and he'd be like, "Okay, so here's the thing, really." So that was a lot of fun. I mean,
no, let him keep going.
Let him keep. Just don't say shit. Just look at him. He'll spill it all. I like this team. I think it has, with the extra, this is the team that is sort of the mascot to me of, I was preparing for an extra flex spot and spending accordingly. This is going against the grain of this year's draft, where the tendency was to like pay a huge amount. It'd be like, this is like, let's find what value we can get in that mid range. And if you do that enough times, I just think that the chance of you being able to field, especially with positional news and injury changes and things like that, to be able to start a winning lineup most week, not an incredibly scary lineup, not like a world beater, but like a good solid lineup every week is really high. So I think this team is going to have success, maybe be in sort of like a wild card range. But again, I'm like, where are the top 10s here? And it's like all the players you wish you could have from 2016 and all, in the next 4 years. And then this wild switch to huge lottery ticket. Like, let me get the rookies. And
My top 10s are my top 10s are in my time machine.
Yeah, they're in there. They're in there. And, and history enshrines them as, a very scary lineup in several years of the past. But I still think the team's going to do well, just because of how many players are at that same level of like, yeah, sure, I like that guy.
Yeah, this could be the year where Nick kind of takes a step back, I think. Just team's aged out a little, I think, losing Kelsey and some of these other, A.J. Brown, some of these other players. This is a better version of Daria's team, right? Like, it's the same strategy. It's the same strategy. It's just more upside, right? Like, it's just executed a little better, maybe. And maybe some of that's due to keepers. But, like, there's just more upside to this team. Like, this is, like, I don't know. Like, this is why Daria won't make the playoffs, because this is just this is the name brand Daria team, right? Like, this is how you do it. This is where I think you look at Daria's team and Nick's team, and then you look at a lot of the other teams who went stars and scrubs, and you see, okay, what's going to work in this new extra flex model that we have, right? Like, which strategy is the way to go, right? And I kind of like that we have the two options to look at.
I like your construction there, that sort of like, in the Pokemon evolution, Gazebo evolves into Iron Pirate.
Yeah,
it's like I think my team is the evolution of. Hey,
yeah, I think
a Winye evolves into a Hillers.
Yeah, we should. That could be we could do a bit. We do a segment on that. Yeah.
What's the next evolution of your team?
So anyway, that said, Nick, like, obviously, I was not too kind to Daria's team, and I'm not going to be super kind to this one again.
I don't know. You put him at number 2 in your power.
yeah, different strategy on this one. Different strategy ideas on how you go into a draft, right? And you're clearly a value hunter, and my God, you've made the playoffs, I don't know, 6 years in a row or whatever the hell it is. So it's working a little bit. So, but don't love the draft. Again, where are the top 10s? Hillers, that's a great point. Maybe team name Hillers, where are the top 10s? I don't know.
Where are the top 10s? That's a little long-winded.
I got you 7.
Hillers
like,
not top 10s. It might be good though.
I got you 7 right in the middle of the road, Nick. Like, so could go either way. Again, just a better version of the Gazebo at this point. So, Touchdown Jesus, final team. Always polarizing. Always fun to talk about. TDJ kept Patrick Mahomes at 11. Isaiah Pacheco at 21. Jonathan Taylor at 50. Mike, did he keep Mahomes at 11 or did he draft Mahomes at 11?
That's just red. That's just red. The bull. It's Isaiah Pacheco for 21, Taylor for 50, Evans for 22, and Brian Thomas Jr. for 15.
All right. So then drafted Mahomes at 11, Tyreek Hill 25, Travis Kelce 12, George Pickens 19, and Bill Groski at 19.
Why did we start calling him that?
Yeah.
That one might be lost.
Bill Groski could pick oranges from an apple tree.
You're right.
All right, Nick, what'd you think of, or Hillers, we'll start with you here. What'd you think of TDJ's draft?
Team sucks.
Whoa.
It's a bad team. It's going to do bad. I mean, you talk about where are the top 10s, where are the top 15s outside of like Brian Thomas Jr. I'm not
Jonathan
super
Taylor?
impressed.
Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans.
I mean,
Isaiah Pacheco.
I don't know. There's a huge sort of situational and off-season stink coming off of everyone you guys just named. I think this team sucks, and I hate it. I have it as the worst team in the league. I think he's plummeted all the way down.
Our defending champion.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. First to worst. All right, Nick.
I mean, prove me wrong. None of these guys can so far, I don't think.
I thought it was a very average draft. Like, I didn't think it was a great draft. I didn't think it was a bad draft. I think it was very average. I gave him a C. But again, I think I said this at the draft too, is that what's really funny is that, like, he has managed to redraft his team at all possible from like 3 years ago. Like, he has Tyreek Hill again. He's got Patrick Mahomes. He's got, like, he's kind of forming the band back together again. Yeah. Like he's kind
For
of.
Kelsey in the mix.
I mean, he never had Kelsey, but like he got the guy.
Yeah, but he wanted him
Kelsey,
always.
Now's my time.
Yeah, I mean, he got Pickens. Like he got George Pickens, which I like. He got Bill Krosky, who I mean, hype or not, like whatever. Like he
Could be
it,
absolutely worthless. Honestly.
Best running back in history, Bill Krosky.
I mean, I think it was a very average draft. Like he didn't poop the bed. Like we've definitely given him shit for worse drafts in the past, and I think that he didn't have worse drafts. That's perfectly fine.
It was the most unpritchard. Like it's weirdly the most Pritchard draft ever and the most unpritchard draft ever, right? Because he got the players that are Pritchard like, but the money he spent is nowhere near.
Exactly.
Like the way he used his money is the most unpritchard like way
Yes.
possible, right? His biggest purchase was $25. This is a guy who spent $80 on a rookie once.
That's wild.
So yeah. I'm done trying to analyze.
It's so weird that he's off it and everybody else jumped on.
Yeah,
I talked to him about it, and hopefully he's not going to get too mad.
He got out Pritcharded by the league.
But he said that if Anthony Richardson was kept, or if they were like, he was like, if Anthony Richardson was announced the starter, he was going to throw back Jonathan Taylor. He's like, because like that's just absolutely worthless.
Because the team would be too terrible.
Because the team would just be absolutely terrible. He's like, but the fact that Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback now, that they announced that it kind of gives like he respects the teams have to acknowledge that Daniel Jones can at least throw.
Well,
the ball.
and he'll check down to Taylor or to Jonathan Taylor sometimes too, where Anthony Richardson would just run the ball, right?
So he was like, so
throw it into nothing. Yeah.
So he's like 100%. Like if Anthony Richardson was the starter, he would have thrown Jonathan Taylor back, and he would have been all in on Genty.
It's crazy how the news of the last 2 weeks prior to the draft can shift things around when you get to day.
Like one news report changes everything.
Right, right. One newsbreaker. It's like the Brian Robinson trade. Day before, change the draft. Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. Who knows what Pritchard's team's going to do? We've tried to predict it in the past, and we're usually wrong. So. The guy's a machine, just always makes the playoffs. So
I'm predicting last.
Yeah. All right, power rankings. Speaking of which, Hillers, take us through them.
Okay, from the bottom up.
Yeah, 12 to 7.
As I said, TDJ at 12. CTR at 11. Cyborg Tony Romo, I think, took a big hit. Hitmen at 10. Rotting Gazebo at 9. Wounded Ducks at 8. Gnomes at 7.
Look at you, Wounded Ducks best draft you noted on there. Lots of hope here. Wow, you're turning around. You're a Ducks hater normally, so.
Teams usually suck. I hate sucky teams. This team is
you,
better. I like it better.
Look at you. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, draft a good team, Des, and you'll find that your report's improving.
I'll go next year. I had CTR at 12, Hitmen at 11, Ducks at 10, Gnomes at 9, Weenye at 8, and Iron Pirate at 7.
Okay, so we're all actually really close on a lot of these. I actually had okay. I'm gonna stick to my guns here, even though I know I should have changed these like while we were discussing.
Whoa!
But this is what I have.
We're not really close because of your 12th place team.
My 12th place is not gonna happen.
Massive disrespect. Wow.
That could be a little bit of bias.
You just hate him so much.
I do. I really hate Asterisk. You want a rivalry that's going to last for eternity?
The Burns.
It's weird you hate him because I only beat you by like 2.5 points. He beat you by 2.5 yards.
Yeah. That's 25 yards that you beat me by.
I crushed you, basically. Yeah.
You did.
Hey,
you did.
the hate wants what the hate wants.
All right, sorry. So start at 12 to 7 here.
So it's not going to happen. Chiefs are number 12, CTR 11, TDJ 10, Hitmen 9, me 8, Gazebo 7.
All right, Hillers.
You didn't want to do yours?
You went first.
Oh, did you already do yours?
Yeah, I did.
You're 12 to 6? Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, I've got Weenye at 6, Iron Pirates at 5, Slod Tadpoles at 4, Not Gonna Happen Chiefs at 3, not at 12, myself at 2, and Dad Dicks at 1.
I'm pretty similar. New faces. Yeah, TDJ 6, Dad Dicks 5, Hillers 4, Slod 3, Gazebo 2. Not Gonna Happen Chiefs at 1. Look, these my power rankings. Look, my power rankings are based on my preseason power rankings. We're gonna recalibrate during the season. We need to relook at things here.
I was gonna say, are you sure your Excel formula is working correctly?
I think we're over-calculating depth. I think we need to recalibrate our depth quotient on the teams here. Anyway, go ahead.
So everyone we're just waiting there to know who hasn't been announced yet by me. I have the Gnomes at 6. I have Ween at 5. Dix at 4. I have Ducks at 3.
Whoa!
I have Larf at 2, and I have Hillers at 1.
So that's the big difference. The Ducks and the Chiefs kind of swapped on Nick's power rankings there. All right.
Well, that's where everyone's finishing. So you're welcome.
I did some playoff predictions real quick. If we want to hear them, just get them on the record here.
Go ahead. And
for division winners, I don't know if you guys did these or not. I don't feel like you have to. Whatever. I had division winners. This is where this all comes into play, by the way. Slod, Not Gonna Happen Chiefs, and Hillers winning divisions. Wild cards are Dad Dicks, Iron Pirates, Michigan Crew. And then for the champion, I have Slod.
Slod could easily win a title.
Yeah. So that was, again, notice Gazebo not on my playoffs, even though they're second in my power rankings at the moment. So the power rankings are broken. Please disregard the power rankings.
I mean, mine are still good, so I would just do mine like sort of down the line, right? So sure. I think I'd probably
20-year-old game we're playing. So
I probably win
power
my
rankings
division.
are constantly adjusting, and look, fantasy points and how they're earned are constantly adjusting. Okay.
Right.
All right, guys, let's close it out. God, this is a long one.
First one, always some fat to trim.
We are recording, right?
We are.
Oh my God.
Hour 26 in. 4 Hillers, 4 Nick. Signing off. Sandlot Cast. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Peace out.